Okay, so let's go on to the next topic here. My horse tosses their head when putting the bridle on. What can I do?
Me first or you first?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say we talked a little bit about this earlier, and you had a great point. The first thing is to check the horse's mouth. Make sure there's no sores, there's no loose teeth, there's no sores on the tongue or on the inside or the corner. Just check them and make sure that there's no physical reason for that to happen.
Exactly. That's the first thing is make sure there's nothing going on. I like what you say, missing teeth. I mean, if you have a young horse and they may be having a new tooth come in, that's something I had forgotten about. But yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that I find is very important is it's difficult to be reaching up to a horse to do anything, to clip their ears or their bridle path or pull their mane or put their bridle on. If you're reaching up towards them, their first instinct is to pull away from you. So I would say if you're a short rider on a tall horse, get a stool or a step ladder, something that's going to give you a little more height so you can be on the same level working with that horse.
Yeah, right. So instead of reaching up, I know the way I was taught to put on a bridle was because, when you're a kid is to, if your horse's head here is to reach underneath, and that automatically the horse puts his head up when you reach around like this, right? So, rather than reaching down underneath, think of reaching over top of the horse's head, or, teaching your horse to put their head down is another.
I mean, I'm not a huge treat person, but there's nothing wrong with having a treat in your hand as you get ready to bridle your horse. Make them drop their head to get the treat and let them know that this isn't going to be something terrible, and they can relax and enjoy their treat, and then hopefully stay relaxed while you put the bridle on. Make sure your bridles can adjust it correctly. There's nothing horses hate more than squeezing a bridle on their head that's too small.
Flossing.
And if your horse is real sensitive, some horses are super sensitive about their ears and don't want you squeezing the bridle over there. You might have to loosen the cheek pieces a few holes so that it slips on very easily, and then adjust it once you get it on the horse. If your horse is very persistently worried and upset that you put on the bridle.
So that's so true. And I think if you've ever had a horse that's quite bad to bridle because of a previous issue, I know I've done this, is put the crown piece or the piece that goes over their head first, and then do up the cheek piece, like just put this and then just have the bit. I've done that before because the horse did have something going on in its mouth, and rather than try to do everything all at once, it just kind of slipped it in that way. But the other thing, too, you have to remember is to think of it from the horse's point of view. What is going on? What's going to go on after you put the bridle on? So you have to make the thing that's going to happen after the bridle be enjoyable as well. If you are not having a great ride, or if you're pulling on the horse's mouth, or the horse isn't comfortable when it's being ridden, they're going to not want to start that process and make it more difficult for you to put the bridle on. So you have to keep in mind, as you're working with your horse, things from the horse's point of view. Be thoughtful of what's going on in your horse's mind.
And think out of the box a little bit too. If you're having consistent problems and you're doing all the things that we're talking about, maybe your bit is uncomfortable for the horse. Maybe it's not wide enough, or it's too sharp, or it's too much. And because, if they, like you said, if they feel like they're going to have a bad experience, they don't want to take that bridle. And please be careful about not clanking their teeth.
Oh, that was the other one, right? Exactly. Totally forgot about that. Maybe it's that simple that when you're putting the bit in, I hate that. I hate that. Hearing the bit clank on their teeth when it goes in, and clank on them teeth when it goes out. That is, yes, exactly. Maybe it's something like that. So if that's the problem, if your horse doesn't like the metal clanking against his teeth, maybe try a rubber bit for a few
Right.
times, or practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.